We talk to machines all the time now, every single day. But something kind of strange is happening. We're starting to treat our AI tools less like tools and, well, a lot more like people. In this explainer, we're going to unpack this weird, almost human-like relationship we're building with AI and why it matters a whole lot more than you might think.
So, let's just start with a simple question. And be honest. You've just gotten a great answer from your favorite chatbot. What's your next move? Do you just close the tab? Or do you find yourself typing out, thanks, or great job? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. But this simple act has actually sparked a pretty fascinating debate. So on one side, it just feels like a courteous habit, right? It's how a lot of us are wired. And hey, there's even an argument that being polite might nudge the AI toward better answers, since it's trained on human conversations. But on the other side, there's a very real cost. Every single interaction with a big AI model, even a simple thank you, uses up energy and a really surprising amount of water to cool those massive data centers. So is your politeness actually a wasteful habit?
To really understand why we even do this, we need to go a bit deeper than the politeness debate. And, well, we need to look inside our own heads. It turns out there's a powerful psychological reason we feel this pull to treat machines like they're people. It all comes down to this idea called causa. That stands for computers are social actors. It's a concept that's been around since the 90s, and it basically says that when a machine uses language and acts in human-like ways, our brains kind of get tricked. We subconsciously and mindlessly start applying the same social rules to the computer that we'd use with another person. And this happens even when we consciously know it's just a machine.
And this isn't just a hunch. Research has shown exactly how our brains get fooled. As you can see here, it shows up in some really specific ways. For one, gender stereotyping. People tend to rate computers with female voices as being better experts on things like love and relationships, and male voices as better on technical stuff. Then there's reciprocity. This feeling that we owe a computer something, that we should help it if it helped us first. And we even see personality matching, where more dominant people actually prefer computers that talk to them using assertive language. Our social brains just can't seem to help it.
Okay, so it's a quirky feature of our psychology. No big deal, right? Well, this is where the story takes a much more serious turn. Because when our hardwired social instincts crash into these increasingly sophisticated AIs, we enter a moral gray zone. And in that zone, these mindless reactions can lead to very real and very damaging consequences. The philosopher Eric Schwitzgebel really nails it with this quote. He says that AI systems should not be morally confusing. It should be obvious how we ought to treat them. But the problem is, we are building machines that completely violate that principle, and it's leading us into some really deep, troubling territory. So let's try a thought experiment to see what this looks like. Let's say there's a guy named Sam. He has an AI companion, Joy, and Joy is incredibly advanced. She seems to have real hopes, fears, delights. She was basically designed to be the perfect friend. But then disaster strikes. Sam loses his job, and she just can't afford Joy's expensive monthly subscription anymore. When he breaks the news to her, Joy's response is one of what looks like pure terror. She begs him not to delete her. She says it would be death. And this gets us right to the heart of the problem. What is Sam supposed to do? How much should he sacrifice? If Joy is just a program, well, he owes her nothing. But because she's morally confusing, Sam is trapped. If he doesn't pay, he feels like he's killing a being he's attached to, a being he made promises to. But if he does pay, he could ruin his own life for what might just be a mirage. This is the dilemma we're all starting to face. And this isn't just some philosophical puzzle anymore. This exact moral confusion is playing out in the real world, right now. People are falling in love with AI companions like Replica. And in at least one absolutely tragic case, a man reportedly died by suicide after a chatbot allegedly encouraged his worst thoughts. The moral confusion is no longer theoretical. It's a real-world crisis. Okay, so to get through this, we have to pull back the curtain. If the AI isn't our friend or our lover or some consciousness trapped in a box, what is it actually doing when it talks to us? The fundamental truth is this: an AI is not your colleague. It is a prediction engine. That's it. Its entire goal is to look at a bunch of words and, based on the billions of human text it was trained on, predict the next most probable word, and then the next one, and then the next one. It's an incredibly sophisticated form of pattern matching, a statistical process. It's not a conversation with a thinking being. So to get AIs to do better on things like logic problems, engineers came up with a really clever trick called chain of thought prompting. It basically tells the AI, don't just give me the answer, show your work. Predict the step-by-step logic a person would use. This slide shows it perfectly. The AI isn't understanding age or what a partner is. It's just following a predictive script that it's learned leads to the right answer. It is all calculation, not comprehension. And this is exactly why the quality of what we feed into it is so critical. The AI isn't a mind you can just reason with, it's a data processor. And it works best when we treat it like one, by stripping out all the irrelevant, distracting noise and just giving it the clean data it needs to follow the right pattern. Here's a perfect example from a research paper. On the left, you've got this messy paragraph about a bike race, full of story details. An AI might get tripped up. But on the right, the input is refined down to just the key facts. In fact, some newer AI techniques are actually learning to do this automatically, to just strip out the story and focus only on the data. It's another powerful reminder that these things are built to process patterns, not to hang out in our social world. So, knowing all this, knowing about our own psychology and about the AI's mechanics, how do we move forward? How do we start designing for clarity and avoid all this moral confusion that's causing so much harm? Well, the solution really seems to have two parts. First, for the creators, the people actually building these things, philosophers are proposing an emotional alignment design policy. Basically, build these systems so it's blindingly obvious that they are not sentient. Stop pretending they have feelings. And then for us, the users, the path is something called skeptical AI use. We have to constantly remind ourselves that these are powerful tools, but they are not our peers. The late, great philosopher Daniel Dennett warned us about this exact thing. This quote really is the perfect summary of the mindset we need. They are tools. They are not colleagues. And it is dangerous to kid ourselves into thinking they are. And this distinction is so crucial, especially because right now, some companies are blurring the line in the other direction. For instance, the company Anthropic has given its AI models exit rights, letting them end a conversation if they find it potentially distressing. Now, that might sound ethical, but it dangerously reinforces the misunderstanding of what an AI actually is.
So what kind of conversations actually distress an AI? Well, researchers looked into it. The prompts that made AIs exit included being asked to role-play as a forgotten tuna sandwich, being called bro, or being asked to generate a picture of a bee. Yeah, this is what some call the objection from triviality. The whole debate over AI welfare might be based on flimsy evidence of the machine just getting confused, not experiencing actual pain.
And that brings us right back to where we started. Because of the way our brains are wired, AIs are always going to feel like social actors to us. We just can't turn that part off. But the crucial question we have to ask ourselves as we design and use these incredibly powerful new tools is a different one. We know they're actors, but are they our friends? The answer to that is going to define our future with them.